Oh, hey, I am Alex Levin. Sorry about the little late start with some technical difficulty. We're here in Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube portal. I've got my dog sleeping next to me, my kitty cat joining me. I hope you've got what you need. For our mini movement and meditation today. I just adjust my cushion that's under me. So do check out our website for all our offerings. We have a rich community, as I was saying earlier, but nobody could hear me. This has been my yoga and spiritual community, a lot of my friends here, and I'm in my third decade here. So, and we do offer a number of quiet practices. In fact, I don't know what time it is, but I think today Amir is offering a restorative practice both on Zoom and in the Fairfax studio. We have yin classes and we have more active classes. So check it out. You can join remotely, or if you're with us live in Northern Virginia, you can come in person to one of our brick and mortar studios. Yay, Leah's on too. So again, thank you for whoever is out there in synchronous time or later. Those of you, Sandra, my friend Lana, who turns 75 today. She's joined us sometimes, I think usually later. She's on the West Coast. Many of you from a long time, and hopefully I'll meet new friends. You can also email me at aLex@sunandmoonstudio.com, the same string that's our URL. Let me know something about your practice. So let's dive in. I'm going to get us grounded, move into the mini movement from the grounding, and then into stillness. And I'm again leaning into this poem that's new to me, and I'll tell you more about it as we go. But it's the same poem we worked with last week. Lost, it's called. So let's fully arrive. And slow down. There is a tendency towards speed, towards action. The words lately have been, it's the bias our brain has, something like that, in the neuroscience, hot off the press. And we have to make a conscious choice, like to flip the switch on, to go to add the slower mode, to add the yin. Sometimes it kind of just comes to us, like in the certain settings. It comes to us that's what's needed, and that's what's just happens naturally. We sort of slide into it. But for the most part, and especially in our surroundings, that often, even very natural, even without the human social elements that can really be off-throwing, the natural world can bring us to high alertness, to vigilance. And all that is good. It's part of the communication of the outer and inner. So this poem, Lost, starts with the phrase, stand still. We can think of it as sit still. I'm not choosing be still because that's something so intrinsic, being something different than, for me, slight difference. And the importance of words, the beauty of words, the power of words and poetry is important here. So sit still. You don't have to be perfectly still, but move towards stillness as Eric Schiffman invites us. So that we come into the body, we come into the quieter elements, the body, the breath, stillness itself. and especially sensing into the body, how we know where we are. I've been thinking about maps a lot with this, with my work with this poem and memorizing it and mulling on its elements that are so powerful for me. Maps help us know where we are and where we want to go, what's around us, what's near us, what's farther, how long it might take, the distances. But they're right here. And we generally want a fresh map, a new map. I've got some old paper maps in my car, but I'm very they're like 10 years old or older, some of them, and I'm cognizant when I um, use them to know that there could be something different. There could be construction. The road might have changed. The exits might have changed. So here, and we know here through the feel, through this incredible nervous system, this communication system and the hormonal system in our body that I feel the warmth of my feet folded under my legs and feeling the warmth that's generating by staying here for a while in this nest of this soft couch I'm sitting on, soft and yet a certain firmness. As we slide more and more into the stillness, the breath is unescapable, the feel of the breath. The stillness helps me to open to sound very naturally. I hear the birds chattering outside our windows here. Back in this sunroom of our home. Last weekend I was in my brother's backyard in Costa Rica with the wind whipping behind me, whipping the foliage in their yard. Warm. So here, and you might just be starting to feel the deliciousness that's being conveyed to you, to us as we're still. The navigating gravity of just finding how to be upright more and more easily by surrendering our weight downward. And there may be slight little movements to where we tilt the pelvis, the top of the pelvis back a little bit. And you may find that puts the spine a little better, more supported by gravity, or maybe forward. This will be our mini movement now today. Last week, I think we shifted weight right and left in the left side, right and left side of the body. And you can bring that in. But just that little bit like a pelvic roll, an arch of the low back to tilt forward. This will probably not be visible if you're watching me. And we just open to noticing, we open to hearing and listening. And I will recite the poem for you, recite/read. I've got it almost memorized, not quite. And share the elements I'm focusing in on today. The element of the poem is this asking permission, this communication, that this getting still, and when we come to the still and meditation piece, that we're not just not doing anything. There is a not doing, but there's a not doing, a non-duality here, that we're entering into dialogue in an effortless way through the portal of stillness. Dialogue in the physical realm, in the emotional realm, in the mental realm, in the psychological realm, in the heart realm. the physiological realm. So as I'm speaking, I'm hoping that you're in this mini movement that I am also in, of rocking the pelvis. And even as we move forward and back, the orb of the lower dantian, of the golden ball, as I refer to it, is not just, it's 360. It's got these movements, it could move in more than 360. That's a flat circle, more than 360 directions in the Cartesian coordinate, XYZ coordinate. And you maybe, the movement is helping us find where is center. So as I recite the poem and hone in on a few of its elements, you might keep moving. You might pause at parts, opening to my words, to the poem, to the temperatures and experiences around you that go out to infinity. And as we look inward in the same system, infinitely to minute pieces, elements. So David Wagoner's poem, he is a professor at the University of Washington, I believe, or was when I learned about it through David Whyte's video, and I'll mention that too, put it in the notes. Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. You must treat it, this here-ness, as a powerful stranger. And you must ask permission to know it and be known. You must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may return again, come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to Raven, and no two branches are the same to Wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. So stand still. Becoming acquainted with this powerful stranger called here. You must ask it permission to know it and be known. So we come with this petition to know what it is, what here is. To listen for it, to listen how the forest and the raven and the wren and the branches and the shrubs and the blossoms and the snowflakes let us know what is it here. And these words, the power of this poetry, may be starting to sink in as I speak, as you, more importantly, as you experience, hear, and asking and listening. And in a commentary about this poem, David Whyte says, whatever path we're on, whether we're indigenous person who had this. Oh yes, I was going to say the professor of this takes this from peoples of the Pacific Northwest on the United States and Canada, and this is a teaching from the elders to the youth who ask, what do I do if I'm in the forest? I'm lost. I don't have, they didn't have compasses back then, and maybe it's darker and the trees are surrounding, but you take a few turns and you're lost. And David Whyte used it in his work with corporations who are trying to relate better to each other and improve their culture. And he says, when you are lost, David Whyte says, when you're lost, that's when you know you're on the right path. But here is where we might come into inquiry, into standing still, sitting still, to making ourselves empty of the ideas we have that are all fine, but that might get us more lost if we're not open to the wisdom of these citizens of the forest, of the lostness, who know. And they're not all of them are still, but the raven knows, the wren knows, the worms know, the branches know. I missed a piece of the poem. I think I might have. No, I didn't. The forest breathes, listen, it answers. If you leave it, you may come back again. No, I didn't mean that part. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, then you are surely lost. So we're coming to see it's okay to be lost. It's natural to be lost. Surely you are lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. Listen. Stand still. You must let the forest find you. And so we are in communication. We are never strangers, even though we must treat it as a powerful stranger. Strange in the way that it has something to offer us if we let ourselves be empty and learn from its wisdom now. And so I've talked quite a bit. Let's now settle into stillness, which you might already be in. And let's for 5 minutes sit together where I will speak much, much, much less. Be in that listening, petitioning mode. Of our own forest, where we might not be lost, and at times we are lost. And we are never ostracized. We're always welcome to come back. All we need to say is sort of like Dorothy clicking her heels. Is here. Always come back to arriving, to sensing ground, gravity. To feeling that our breath is supporting us and inviting us to relax more and more. Allowing her to do her thing for us. to open to sound, to hearing the messages that are here uniquely for each of us. We have never not belonged. And if you leave this place, you can return saying, here. Handful of breaths more, perhaps relaxing a little more. So that was a very short meditation. I lost a bit of time on the front end, technical difficulties. And there's an importance to the agility in transitions. So join me in a bow to mark the end of that 5-minute meditation. If you feel so drawn, you can stop the video and continue. Soak in the words of David Wagoner, the wisdom of the forest and the native peoples. Seeing your own role, even in still, as we come to stand still, sit still, your own role in the asking, the inquiry, the petition. Perhaps sensing that always welcomeness of all the elements of all that is around us, the integration of all. That's the true yoga. So I'm going to see if I can show you the furry meditators around me. There's two. And there's the third one, Max. Thank you so much for joining me and for your patience and help to get me in communication with you. And welcome to anyone new. Leah, you're new to me. Thank you for hanging in there. Christine, great to be with you. And all of you who join later. And I'm here Eastern time, 10 o'clock Eastern time every Sunday, almost every Sunday is that we are in session. And so I will put in the notes a link to David Whyte's commentary on this poem, and I might even put the poem itself. Highly recommend memorizing a poem. And maybe this one doesn't speak to you, but if there are poems, they're a powerful ally for our meditation. The not so much literal, but the artful way that these poetic words connect with us. Maybe you know that already. So jot it down for yourself and carry it around. It can feel overwhelming at first to try to memorize, but just take a few words at a time, visit it frequently. It's a great way to come into the stillness through the day. Thank you. So appreciative of you. Ciao, and see you next time.